it's on now.
Baton Rouge, it's official. National recording artist Webby and the Savage Squad have teamed up with the hottest clothing line in BR. Authentic BR 225 gear, aka Jake City Clothing. The gear is hot, it's fresh, it's what's up. You have many styles to choose from. Tall tees, short and long sleeve. Authentic fitted baseball caps and embroidered polo style shirts with the BR logo. You can be officially repped out in BR 225 gear. So rep your hood. That's BR 225 gear. Get you some. Oops, I almost forgot. Bootleg this.
Black, my baby.
I've been waiting for your phone call.
You're still my baby. When am I gonna see you again?
Let's do lunch, wherever you want.
Tell I want to go too. I'm hungry.
The Japanese restaurant by the lake. I'll be there at 12:29 in my red dress, high heels, and no panties.
Well, I'll be there with a black shirt, black hat, and no boxing drawers.
Tell I have on some gym socks and a backstage pass from a Kumo D concert. Tell I be in some cowboy boots with some click-clacks around my neck. Hey, tell her I'm gonna be butt naked with a belt on and a beeper and some blue blockers and a hula skirt.
Welcome back to BET Tonight. There you see another clip from the movie I Got the Hookup, starring Master P, opening in theaters across the country today. P, let me ask you, this trademark, this mantra, this signature, you know what I'm talking about. Where did that come from? What is that?
Well, basically, it came from trying to learn another way to express my anger, you know, all the frustration I done been through. Instead of going out doing something bad, I came out with a way. Every now and then we need to holler, let off a little steam and let off some hostility, and that's how I do it, you know. I mean, and I think that's my way of hollering, you know, when it get hectic.
Okay.
You know, and that's all my ghetto pain.
If you say so, I'll accept that. You were talking earlier about your family, your brothers, Silk and C-Murder, of True. Those are your brothers, I should say.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what kind of role they play at your record label, No Limit.
Well, I mean, they're a part of the family. I mean, this our record company, you know. I mean, I feel in life whatever mine is theirs, and they feel the same way about me. And I think that's what separates us from all the other record companies out there. We just not a bunch of bodyguards and people hanging together. We all family, whether it's cousins, some guy I done grew up with from a long time ago. It ain't just a bunch of people, you know, there for the money.
Okay. You recently, as we all know now, signed Snoop Dogg to your label, No Limit. I'm wondering whether or not you in any way expect any kind of repercussions from Death Row. There are all kind of rumors floating around, as you know. What's the story on the Snoop Dogg signing?
Well, see, that's what people got to learn to mind their own business, in that this thing with No Limit and Death Row, I mean, this just a business deal. Like I said, I mean, this a thing that Death Row has some property. It's like buying a car. You have a car, and if you get to a position in life that you don't want the car, it might not be a bad car or nothing, you just can't do nothing with it, and you put the car up for sale and somebody else buy it, what you do after that? You know, and I put everything I do in the Lord's hands. And I get up in the morning, I go to sleep. I don't have to look over my shoulder because I do the right thing, you know. And I worked out a business deal with these guys, you know, and that's the way I live. I mean, I don't go around running around thinking that, you know what, I got to worry about somebody or somebody got to worry about me, because it's just a business deal. And like I said, if Sony Music did this deal, or EMI, or MCA, you wouldn't even be hearing these rumors, because you know what? This is just a black thing. You know what I'm saying? And nobody don't want to see black people work out business and do business affairs. Okay,
let me ask you about that black business thing, as you put it a moment ago. Earlier this week on Monday, as I recall, I think it was Monday, we re-aired an encore performance of one of our more popular shows here on BET Tonight, a show about the rise and fall of Death Row Records. Since we're talking about Death Row, I'm wondering quickly here whether or not you learned anything business-wise from the fall of Death Row.
Well, see, if you're a real player, you're going to get your game from everything that go on. And Death Row showed me a lot. I mean, it ain't no player hating on this side. Not just Death Row, Rap Alive, we got Suave House, we got Bad Boy. I mean, you got all these type of companies, and this what makes No Limit. You look at everything that's happening. You look at the good stuff they do and the bad stuff they do. You say, okay, the good stuff, you learn that and you adapt that, like just like a computer. The bad stuff, you say, you know what, I don't want to do that, because if I do that, that's gonna get me here. Right. And that's a wise man. You know, a fool gonna do something and see somebody else done tried it and they couldn't get away with it. What you think? Do No Limit think they could get away with doing stuff like that? No, and No Limit is not built upon that, you know. And you got to realize everybody that come before you is a sacrifice. You know, I mean, Death Row Records might be a sacrifice for a lot of other companies that's gonna come up, and I know Suge feel the same way about that. Like, well, you know what, you in a position now. Now you got to be a man, and you know what you got to do. You got to teach your other brothers and sisters out here that want something. If you real, and if you willing to make a chance. Mm-hmm. If you not, then you know the man got a place for whoever that's playing the game. That because you can't beat the man. You know, I could fool you. Suge could fool you, we could fool everybody on the planet, but nobody could fool the man up above, and everybody got to deal with that one day.
Glenn in Virginia, thanks for holding you on the air with Master P.
Well, Tavis, I respect you. I respect your work.
Thank you.
For your guest, I'm kind of fed up with these booty call type movies and whatnot.
Yeah.
My thing is, I don't think we can afford the luxury of so many of these type of movies where they don't have any type of message and whatnot. And you talked about the ghetto being, you know, a certain type of way, and you have to depict that on the screen. Why? Just like for yourself, for instance, you had a vision for yourself, and you didn't limit yourself, and you strive for something different. Why can't you display the ghetto as how it can be and not how it is?
Well, that's what you got to be able to grow to do that, you know. And my next movie that I'm working on is called Ghetto Love, and that's where you got to mature. You know, you got to start from somewhere. You got to get people attention, and you got to realize these type of movies that we making now is what gonna get the attention and pull our audience in. And when we got them all looking, that's when we come back with a movie like Ghetto Love, and they can understand, you know what, it ain't so many bad people in the ghetto after all, because Master P made it out, and a lot of other people have made it out. You know, a lot of basketball, football players, all kind of athletes. I mean, there are some good people in the ghetto, and I'm gonna display that, but that take time, and it are some bad people in the ghetto. You know, so you got to look at that. There are some good cops. You know, there are some good record companies. There are some bad ones. You know, so you got to look at life. Life is two sides. You can't look at it one side.
I mentioned earlier that you have launched a kids foundation. You said in an interview that you did that in part because you wanted to combat what you saw as your unwarranted gangster rap image. Yeah. What about your image do you think is unwarranted?
Well, I see that people deceive Master P as, you know, man, this bad person, who is really this person, you know, and people don't know. And my thing is, I could care less how somebody deceived me, but what I have to do is, I have to try to save those kids in my community and get them a chance, because I mean, I come from a poor environment, and I figure if I could start from the kids, when they get older, they might could help save somebody. And I think that's what life is about. So at a certain time, it got to get more than just the money. You got to do this to be able to save our future, and our future are the kids to me. You know, the grown-ups on drugs and doing this and that, teacher, you can't save them. But I think we can get in these young minds and teach them right now.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, P.
Yeah.
Let me come at you right quick before I run out of time here. Speaking of young kids, you know this quite well, and I say up front, nothing came of this. Nothing came of it. Yeah. But the point is, there was a teenager, as you know, who went to trial for robbery not too long ago, who said that the catalyst of his crime started with one of your records. I'm wondering then whether or not you believe that kids can in fact be motivated to do or not do certain things based upon what they hear in songs.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something, and I was a kid and I've been there before, and I know you done been there. Most of that is excuses. I can't use the excuse for my action. You know, you know when you do right or wrong. I mean, these kids today, they make them way faster than they used to make them. They thinking 5 and 10 times quicker. That's why they could pick up a gun and shoot somebody. You know what I'm saying? So you know what? You got to be accounting for your own actions. And I think that's what life is about.
But you don't think music though can influence those kind of young minds?
So you tell me when you watch a Rambo movie, one of these violent movies, do that make me want to go out and kill somebody? No, you know, I'm not. That's an excuse. You know, that's a form of entertainment. Music is music for the mind, and that's something that people like to vibe to. You know, but as far as when you pulling a trigger or going out, you know, that's an excuse. That's an excuse to plead insanity. That's like the kids who went to the school and shot up these kids. If those was black kids, they probably wouldn't have made it out that school. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at it. You can't make an excuse for that. Okay. You got to be real. You got to be real with life. And if you do something, you got to be accounted for your action. If I do something wrong, I want to be accounted for my action. And I think you got to think of doing the right thing. And you can't put your problems on somebody else. And that's a loser to me.
Up next, our conversation with up-and-coming hip-hop stars 8 Ball and Corrupt.